Christine. It's just me and Christine right now. Pat will be back tomorrow from vacation. Always trying to keep you up on all the latest things that are going on. We always talk about current events, local news, national news, a little bit of international news here time to time, and then some other stuff thrown in. But we always talk about politics because that's just part of what we do here on Hot Talk 99.5. We've always been in the political spectrum as much as possible. And the thing is, obviously, we've got some midterm elections coming up in 2014, and a little bit further down the road in 2016, we've got our next presidential election. And to the best of my knowledge, we have what might be the first declared presidential candidate for the 2016 election in the studio with us right now. His name is Keenan Dunham, and he is a Myrtle Beach native. And Keenan, thanks for joining us here today.
Oh, thanks for having me so much. You know, I really appreciate it. It's an honor to be here.
Now, get a little microphone.
It's an honor to be here, yeah.
But the thing is that, you know, I got a letter from you here at the radio station the other day, and I saw it was sent out to some of the other media here locally, and you said that you wanted to announce your official candidacy for President of the United States. Now, honestly, when we get stuff like that from time to time, it's not necessarily serious, but, you know, looking at what you had and what you sent, I can see that you're serious about what you're saying. Now,
absolutely.
Now, first of all, now, are you running as a Democrat, a Republican, Independent? Right,
that would be libertarian,
okay.
Libertarian candidate.
All right, so libertarian candidate for president, and you've sent along some of the planks of your platform. Why don't you go ahead and explain?
Sure.
You know, what you would like to see done?
Sure. Well, you know, I'm running early, and I've looked at it for a couple years, and I'm only just now old enough to run. Actually, I'll be the youngest candidate ever because I'm only 32 right now, and I've called the FEC, and I can actually run because I'll be 35 before the date of the election 2016. And I'm running on a science-based campaign that I have a plan for solar and geothermal energy that I think, and you know, I'm just trying to cry at the rooftops here, that it can make $100 trillion for the nation as a whole, you know, into the economy. And my plan is, it's based on the science that's developed in the past 10 years of computers doubling and tripling themselves in the speed and capacity. So the science-based plan, I want to get out there, and I'm using the campaign as a torch of visibility, so to speak, to get it out there.
It's like a 4-tier plan. What are some of the key bullet points of those 4 plans?
Yes. Well, what I would do is I would start with building solar plants and geothermal plants, and then selling them to private companies. And it's a libertarian plan. It's not a democratic owned by the government. You know, gonna increase the size of the government, because I don't want to do that at all, and I don't believe that's correct. I want to sell to private companies and lease the land. So you know, that is 2 effects of making money for the deficit. That's going to get us out of the hole. So that's to get us out of the hole. Then we're going to have building more of these factories or these production facilities, and they're going to create jobs in the country. The private companies that buy them, and that will create lots of jobs, millions of jobs, hopefully.
Oh, millions.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah.
You know, and also bring other industries into the United States because of the cheap energy. We want to have a surplus of energy. What I did was, you know, I looked at Germany. Germany's example of solar energy, and people are starting to understand this, that they are going green, and we need to do that with the land mass of the United States, because the United States has 30 times and more land mass of Germany. We need to go ahead and harness it, and we can do that with using just green energy, and I've analyzed how much energy we could produce, and it's just staggering, and it could put us at a surplus level, which we need to do for national security. You know, people can easily understand that energy is an issue these days, and a surplus would put us on another plateau as far as the economy.
We're talking with Keenan Dunham, an announced candidate for the 2016 presidency under the Libertarian ticket. And the reason that we were able to get him into the studio here is that, if we didn't announce this at the beginning, is
right.
that Keenan, you're a Myrtle Beach native.
Right.
You went to Myrtle Beach High School, Governor's School for Science and Math, and you graduated from USC.
Yes, that's correct. I graduated in psychology, cum laude, and also statistics and Japanese minor. I am actually fluent in Japanese.
So are you going to the game tonight really quick?
yeah, I'm going to the game tonight with my brother and my dad. I'm really excited.
Oh, that's great.
And actually, my grandfather and my uncle played for UNC, so I graduated USC, and we have UNC roots. It's going to be really great.
It's the battle within the family.
Yep.
That's great. Are you going and kind of touting your plan? Right. Are you going just as a
fan?
Oh,
no, it's just as a fan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, as a libertarian candidate, obviously there's a lot of people out there that are libertarian that are, if you look at the Ron Paul and the Rand Pauls, Neil Bortz, who we used to have on the air with us before he retired a while back. I mean, they have a lot of other things that they like to tout as far as some possibilities. One of the things that is redoing the tax code. Do you have any kind of thoughts on that?
Yeah, there's a lot of candidates who have talked about that before, and I would just go along with what they've planned for the Libertarian Party, which is reduce income tax at some kind of percentage, maybe 3% across the board. And that would stimulate the economy, which would eliminate the need for worrying about Social Security and things like that. I just don't believe in big government. I believe in libertarian philosophy. And, any party could have put the budget in line, but a libertarian philosophy is what we need right now, I believe.
Oh, okay. Well, any other, I was just reading down your list of things that you've accomplished, and you're definitely very smart, very accomplished man, but why the presidency, I guess, is my question, in the sense that, do you think that you have a strong, solid chance of making waves in the political arena? I mean, up against some huge names that we're all familiar with.
Well, running so early, I really do hope to shift the balance for 2014. There isn't a strong where you can say there's a third party presence, and there could be a libertarian caucus going on in 2016 that could rival. I'm actually going to encourage other people to run for office as libertarian for 2014, and running so early for president. Well, the main reason was because to do my solar energy plan, I would have to have federal mandate to get the land and use it for the factories and the production facilities. So I would have to be president to do it. So, but the side effect is that I can get this into the politics today, and get 2014 swinging more independent and get more people involved. And I really have a passion for it, and I'm going to do this up until 2016. And I have a head start. I'm using the Head Start, and I really do hope to shift politics by doing this.
Now, Keenan, there are a lot of issues that are going on in front of the country right now that if you were elected president, you would have to deal with. How would you, if you were president right now, how would you deal with the situation in Syria with what's going on overseas?
Right. Well, not to step on toes of what anybody else is doing, but I believe that when it's a civil conflict, we should not get involved. And I would not get involved in Syria at all. Certainly, if there's something the UN needs to help with, the UN can help. But I don't know. I don't want to go into too many specifics with that particular issue. But I would not get involved.
Well, as a
personally.
libertarian, also, I know that you don't like government intervention. How do you feel about people like Edward Snowden and Bradley Manning? Then, as far as leaking we were spying on our own people.
Well, actually, those three guys are, all completely different issues. As far as whistleblowers and things like that go, it's a case-by-case basis. But I think the United States needs to be at the head of democracy and the head of freedom, and really give a lot of, ground to protecting people like that. That's how I would approach each of those situations.
And one of the other big issues is obviously Obamacare, if you want to call it that way, national health care,
sure.
Or the Affordable Care Act. Obviously, that's still going to be a concern in 2016.
Well, that's the big government. You're looking at big government with a massive insurance buying, plan where you have to buy insurance, and that's mandated by the government. And I just wouldn't have done it. But I do have some plans to increase the health care industry, and I'm looking into how it would affect the healthcare industry to forgive doctors' debts for school, and also try to get their costs for school down. And that would increase people wanting to, hopefully, serve in the ER as the most difficult, and to be general practitioners in medicine. Whereas right now, to afford having been a doctor, you have to go into specialty business.
You said that you studied Japanese and you're fluent in Japanese. So I'm curious to know, what sparked your curiosity? Obviously, that culture there. Is there
Sure.
something that they're doing right that you said I need to be connected and plugged in? Are there things that you would take away from what they're doing to implement in running? Or I guess
I wouldn't say no. I love the United States. It's the politics of the United States are the best in the world, I believe, and I'm able to run as president now because of the Constitution, and the Constitution is set up from the start of this country in a way that allows us freedoms that will always be there, and that I thank God really, and I thank our founding fathers that I'm able to do this and get my ideas out there, so easily because we have a free society.
Jump straight to presidency. Usually, you
Sure.
kind of have the road. You go through local politics and then state politics, then you eventually get to, a platform like running for president. Why such a sudden jump? Do you have a background in politics?
Well, yeah, I do, but why put so much pressure on it? At the same token, I can ask you why do we need to put so much pressure on running for president? It's when it started, they were just egalitarian people sitting around bars and drinking together and talking about ideas, and that's what started the Tea Party movement, and that's what started egalitarian belief in England that got them over here and actually have some pilgrim ancestors, So I like to keep it simple and think about my goals with the country, and certainly I'll need a lot of people involved and a lot of scientists and things like that. But I just love that I have the opportunity.
How can people get involved if they're listening to you right now
Right.
and want to jump on board and help you out?
Sure. Keenan Wallace Dunham, that's my full name, and you can actually just search Google and find me on Facebook. I have a splash page that I've made for the campaign, and also you can add me personally, and I also want to have an open campaign where I can talk to people and have a town hall type atmosphere. And right now I'm accepting volunteer staff, so I just really want to get it going and also work with the Libertarian Party to get candidates for 2014.
Sorry, I had myself turned down there. A lot of people say that libertarians, isn't that the party that just wants to legalize pot? That's what they're famous for. But obviously it's a lot more than that. I'll be honest with you, Keenan. The last several presidential elections, I have voted on the Libertarian ticket. More so out of protest about just the two-party system than anything, and also for the Electoral College, which I don't believe in anyway. I think that the votes should actually count, and that's kind of why I do that. But so there are people that vote for libertarians in South Carolina.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Actually, I'm glad to hear that from you.
Well, Keenan, we do appreciate you coming in, and obviously you've got a long
Thank you so much.
And it's going to be an uphill climb. But do you think that between yourself, the people you have around you, and the Libertarian Party, at least locally and or statewide, that you have the basis to be able to make a splash on a national level?
Well, I didn't